Genshin Impact, but in real life? Well, these two brothers in particular did some pretty cool stuff, and while I was streaming, some people linked it to me in my Discord, so I decided to check it out live. But anyways, so this video is basically two brothers recreated moves in Genshin Impact, but did in real life, and it's actually really cool, and I hope you enjoy this fun experience of me checking it out. But hey, before we get started, you know what I'm about to get into. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. Doing all these things really supports the channel, and I do upload every single day consistently, and I promise I'm here to make sure that you don't get too bored scrolling through YouTube. I provide so that you don't have to worry about being bored all the time. I got you for your YouTube binge sessions. Anyways, I hope you enjoy watching. Genshin Impact moves recreated in real life? Dude, this guy's sick! Yo! Oh my god!
So you guys really liked our previous—
Dude, the hair flick though at the end too? Do you see him sell that? He sold it. See the little hair flick? Oh my god! Oh, get it! Yeah! Okay!
So I've teamed up with my older brother Mike once again to bring you even more Genshin Impact moves.
Oh my god, it's two brothers making these? Oh my god, his momentum build up too. Oh!
So next one up is
That's so cool!
And
yeah!
mostly because it looks like it's pretty impossible. And it is.
So what I did was a B-twist where I laid out in the same position that he does, but of course he's not doing a B-twist, he does more of a front flip.
These two are phenomenal. Like, they're so talented. Like, I'm just sitting here in awe that people can do that with their bodies, dude. Listen, your bitch does yoga, but I cannot do that, you know what I'm saying? I can get bendy, right? But I ain't out here doing flips, okay? I barely jump as it is.
Next up we have Diona, who has a very cat-like reflex to her moves, and what she does in her elemental skill.
Wow! He nailed that! That's so
recreated
cool!
Pretty faithfully, bar from the speed up from the editing.
So cool!
Yeah, a backflip is a pretty basic move.
Next we have Toma's elemental skill, which you also saw in the previous video, but this time we wanted to see if you could do it. This time we brought a pole arm, or a similar bow staff, with us to use as a prop, but using that didn't really translate that well to real life, right?
Yeah, not only was the bow that we had a little bit lighter, so it was hard to kind of put my weight onto, but I think personally that would have made the trick a lot harder to accomplish. So you'll see in this one, it's very similar to...
Yeah, that makes sense because it's creating a pivot point, right? Because this and pole dancing, things I don't talk about on stream often, but you know, I used to be in a pole dancing class, but anywho, I'm moving on from this conversation, we're not talking about it. Is that it's a very similar thing when you have to do holds, is that like the way that like Toma holds that while going to the stance is so common for us. So, like, I understand, like, it's, like, the amount of reliance you have on the pole is insane. The way you shift your weight and, like, and your core contracts is so, it's so grueling. The amount of, like, pole burns I've had is insane. That's adorable.
Next character is Bennett, a character that is known for having extremely bad luck in the game, and when you hold down his elemental skill, he does this.
When I saw this, I was like, you want me to fall?
I just kind of threw it in there as a joke, but little did I know that you recreated it that well.
Yeah, so I thought we recreated this pretty well, aside from the one thing that we didn't even realize until after we filmed it, was that my arms are up, like I'm falling out of the air. But in the video, he keeps his arms down. But I kept the arms up because it's easier to land that way. It's easier to land safer and allow me to flip over like how he does in the video.
Yeah, well, also when I first
this is so
clip,
cool to
I
watch.
thought that he just
my brain is like,
I thought that would be a little bit dangerous for you to do, but
probably would be without that, especially without that crash mat.
Yeah.
Oh
This
yes!
character is
The
Yuji,
Genshin.
who just recently got announced, and that's why the clip that we have of her as a reference is taken from a gameplay trailer and not just gameplay, which would be a much better angle to view it from.
So I mentioned earlier about the butterfly kick, which is the base kind of trick for the butterfly twist. And this is exactly what she does in this attack animation.
Wow.
So using the pole arm, she kind of slices and does a butterfly kick at the same time. So the butterfly kick is definitely one of the more basic tricks in tricking. It's one of the first tricks that I always teach when I'm teaching a new student. And
Oh, he's an
it's a
instructor.
relatively easy trick that anybody can do, really.
So when I heard that,
That's why
I
they're
thought
so good
that
at
I would be able
explaining
to do it
stuff. That makes a lot of
myself
sense
for this
now.
clip instead of you. But then when I actually tried it, it didn't look nearly as good. So
to cleanse the land.
So for context, this is from Zhongli's character trailer, in which they do a lot of camera work, they do a lot of visual effects to try and make the characters seem as cool as possible, since of course they're trying to sell them. So I thought I'd just throw it in there, kind of see what would happen with it, and somehow
That is so cute. Like, I love that. They're both like shy about it because they're just like, oh, it's kind of nerdy that we did it, but like, I love that. I love that they were like, because that's the thing, right? It's like, sure, you can just do what the people want, right? Where it's like, I talk about this a lot too as a content creator. Like, you're always putting out stuff that people will enjoy, but sometimes you want to just do stuff for yourself. And moments like that are so precious to me, where it's like, they clearly loved making this to the point where they looked at each other and smiled because they're so happy that they made it, right? And it looks sick. They did a great job. Look at this. I love that, and the way he commits to the character too. It's a great job, and you can tell how shy they are about it after. Like right,
So
like face palming, and they cringe at each other. But it's like, no, I'm happy for you. It's such a beautiful thing to have. Is like to feel comfortable enough to do that, to record it and to post it. Like that's awesome. That's so great. I love it.
This is from Zhongli's character trailer.
Oh man,
in which they do a lot of camera work. They do a lot of visual effects to try and make the characters
that
seem
made my
as
heart
cool as
like happy
possible,
for
since,
them.
of
They're
course,
so
they're trying to
great.
sell them. So I thought I'd just throw it in there, kind of see what would happen with it, and somehow we ended up getting this masterpiece. But we couldn't have just done this by ourselves. We had the help of Mike's friend Brandon, who is a photographer, and he tried to recreate the camera angles as best as he could, despite how crazy they ended up being.
I thought we did a pretty good job.
I think it came out way better than I ever expected.
you did a great
so
job.
the very first shot is all in one take. It's relatively simple, but it still took a lot of planning from the three of us to get down. Of course, the part that we weren't quite sure how it would turn out was the pole arms kind of going into the ground, which is Zhongli's charge attack. So when we recreated it, I kind of just held it up and stabbed it into the ground multiple times. It looks really janky, but also it's the best we could have gotten.
Job.
So,
Yeah.
I think it
the
looked
kick, and then
great.
the pole arm flying up, spinning around in the sky with a little light in the background. So when I initially broke down the clip, I didn't even notice that when he pulls the pole arm back, it's just floating there. Like he's not even holding it. He didn't throw it up either. It's just floating there. So what we did is I literally stood behind you holding it.
You gotta see it.
You can see my arm behind you, but also the first time you probably might not even notice it, but also you might not be able to even tell that.
Honestly,
that's the effect we were going for.
Honestly, I I noticed his hand not holding the pole arm and it floating backwards, and I was like, why is it doing that? Like I didn't realize someone was holding it behind him, but it makes sense, obviously. I was wondering why his hand was static while the pole arm was moving back. Like, I was like, what? It makes sense what they're going for now. Oh.
So that entire character trailer sequence turned out way better than I had ever imagined it would. So I'm thinking that if we ever do a part 3 to this series, we're going to try to lean more into that. So if you have any sequences from character trailers or maybe in-game cutscenes that you want to see recreated, make sure you comment them down below.
I love
think
their
all the stuff that
commitment
we ended up
level.
recreating turned out really well. I'm really happy with it.
That's amazing. Wow, these two are so great. They're so talented. That made my heart so happy to see like people's passions from real life. Thanks so much for checking out my video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stick around for more. Also, be sure to tune in live. I stream all the time here on the channel, but I do upload daily. So either way, I hope you stick around and become a part of the community. Also, in the description below is my Discord if you want to join that too. All right, later, skaters.